Alright, let's see what we can find in this office then.
My brother slept here?
He was the hardest working of all the Regenti. Couldn't quite draw the line between a personal life and a professional one.
He never did have any desire to start a family.
Despite my efforts.
This is his work?
All the cases that he's had to work with before. He likes keeping them in the open. Watch his collection grow.
This case is large and relatively recent. It's about
You shouldn't...
Cicero Gavar.
And this investigation is not.
You never mentioned how you knew my brother.
Who are you here for?
I didn't mean to upset you.
Just keep looking.
Haven't found anything yet. Instead, it's almost like I'm giving him a tour of the place. We're not gonna check inside this chest? Oh, there's another one over here, I guess. Or are those ashes? I can't tell if the top is just textured or if it's... Oh, it's maybe an open box.
I don't see anything out of the ordinary, Inspectore. Are you certain that there's something to be found here?
No, I'm not.
But yet you're searching through coal?
Do you think I'll find anything?
I don't think of a bed of coal when I'm looking for a place to hide things.
Exactly.
What's that?
It's a pretty good point. You'd never find something in coal. Well, that's why they hid it there.
If you could, Mariner? When you're ready.
Tides? What is that?
They certainly don't look like they're born of the earth.
My brother was keeping Fae. What are you doing?
Those creatures reacted to something.
You think they've got a thing for coals?
I think they've got a thing for this.
What is it?
Well, hopefully someone can tell us. Put the dresser back in place, please. We should... Wonderful.
I've got your backs.
Well, I suppose we should have expected that. The part where it breaks out, not necessarily the part where it turns into a lesser paper... Oh, it's paper, Faye. Maybe that's why I can float so much. It looks like that one anime movie that I can never remember the name of. Yeah, helpful comment by me, right? Sicario... Whoa. Sicario, Pavicieri, and Dirge. Those are new, right? I don't think those were listed there before. And they haven't necessarily been explained so far. Let's check out my new skills first of all, because I've got my new Dust Devil. Oh, as Maestro Cicero can switch between class stances at will. Stances grant various passive effects based on each class archetype. Press Z during combat to switch stance. I can probably also just click on it. He moves quicker. So Sicario, it means that you move faster and deal bonus damage while flanking. So it's good for running around your target and attacking them from behind. Paviciers generates high threat and suffers less damage, which is good if I want to tank, which some of the skills would complement that. Dirges have ranged auto attack and can regenerate focus rapidly. So I think out of these three, the middle one fits for me. What do we have here? Stances. The Inspectores of Ombre are trained in various media and Cicero. As one of them has the ability... What? They're trained in various media and Cicero. As one... Oh, Cicero is what has these abilities. I'm like, this is a really strangely structured sentence. So Cicero, as one of them, has the ability to shift between classes by changing his stance. I totally read media and Cicero as being two things of a similar category, but Cicero's the name of the character. God damn it. With the default stance of a Sicario, which is not to be confused with Cicero, these names, pressing Z will swap between them. It's all straightforward, really. Right, this is really just This is actually kind of a more intense duplicate. I thought it was going to be a lore thing, but it's this is in the gameplay category. I'll review it if I need more information. Alright, let's try this thing. Nope, that'll be fun. Alright. So that's what our new Dust Devil attack looks like. All things considered, it does not appear to be like critical amounts of damage. But it's good for threat, apparently. It's satisfying to pull off.
You can handle yourself in battle.
I am trained as a Pavicier. My physique didn't really cater for the other Medea.
I can imagine. Hold on.
Found something?
Perhaps it was a good thing those Fae attacked us. That mark that you see over there. The mark of Timerius Candor, a glassmith who works in one of the Registry's wards. The Quiet Order.
Our next lead?
Let's go.
Now that's something for us to go after. Also, multiple entries about Fae now. Let's track those down. So culture... Oh, the paper Fae was also open. Fae. The Fae of Ombre have been around since before the city was constructed. In the Silent Ages, before the first colonized the lands of Ombre, there were creatures made of stone and wood, which didn't bleed when cut, which didn't age or grow. These were the Fae, and they have persisted through the epochs, continuing to vex the citizens of Ombre. No one knows where the Fae came from or how they've managed to sustain their presence. They do not seem to need to eat or breathe, and there have been no sightings of juvenile Fae. All that is known is that about them is that wherever they are found, they have shown signs of adapting to their surroundings. Where they are found in caverns, they are often made of stone. Where they are found in forests, they are made of bark and branch. Where what magics of the world would they have imbued in them is uncertain. And as much as the Vegelus have tried to understand them, little has been made in the way of progress. The Fae, though territorial, are fortunately wary enough of humans that they mostly confine themselves to the Dementicate ruins where they are commonly found. Adventurers who are exploring the depths of the ruins, however, must be cautious. The Fae are known to be hostile towards any who infringe upon their territories. Near the paper ones. Never before have I seen Fae made of paper. Truly, it baffles me from whence they came. Certainly Razatov has something to do with this. Perhaps I will learn more as we progress. So it seems the Fae are territorial by nature, and they're wary of humans, so that means that we don't really have to worry about them invading, or attacking, or organizing in that kind of way. It's just they're more of a consistent, distant threat if you go out into the wilderness, for example, which is, I'm sure, where we're going to end up going. That's an interesting monster type to establish, so we have something to fight besides humans all the time. It'll be an excuse to have combat scenarios without constantly having to have us get mugged or something every 5 minutes. Update on Kalden. The man is a proficient healer. I will say that much. He knows how to handle himself well in battle, a trait I must say not often found within the Sorel del Mar, and even less something that I'd attribute to a relative of Razatov. I might be fond of the Regenti, but he was not a fighter. Why then is his brother so well versed in Marabusto? Perhaps the bond between his lanky friend, my lanky friend, and his large burly brother of his isn't as straightforward as it seems. So it seems he's already suspicious that that Kalden's not his blood brother, and just sort of someone that maybe been adopted or something. Furthermore, he seems a little too curious about the history I share with his brother. Did Razatov not say very much about him about me either? A strange arrangement, considering their blood tie. The longer I travel with this man, the more I believe there's something he's hiding. Alright, well, get ready for a twist, everybody, because they're kind of jamming at home that something's going to be interesting and different about this character, apparently. Further investigations into Razatov's office have yielded surprising results. He was hiding away Fae behind a dresser, which seemed to react violently to a particular black stone found in a container of coal. I do hope to be able to identify the stone soon. It will certainly inform the investigation further. Also, the glass bells that the Fae were kept in have a craftsman's mark upon it. They were made by the hand of Timerius Cantor, a glassmith that lives in one of the Registry's wards known as the Quiet Order. I intend on paying him a visit. Perhaps he can tell us more about what my friend was up to. So if I were to come to a guess here, the guy was investigating how to make more Mascherines, so I'm guessing that the energy source here may have something to do with how you can make more Mascherines, this black stone we found, but it seems to also enrage Fae, and I would guess that it was probably being kept in a container of coal in an attempt to contain its aura or its essence from being detected. That might be a way of the coal might be a way of blocking it from enraging nearby Fae.
Lucia.
I see you've already made some new friends.
Part of the investigation.
Ah, so the old man took my advice.
Your advice?
After what happened with Corvus and Ophina, nasty business that was. Anyway, he sought my opinion, and well, here you are.
So you're the one I have to blame. Why weren't you put on the case?
I'm too valuable.
Sure.
Where are you off to?
The Quiet Order.
Excellent. We can travel together then.
You too?
Come on. I'll tell you on the way.
So, you told the Vestas to call for me?
It was either that or do it myself. I think the choice was clear.
And the others?
Well, Ophina and Corvus are that, which leaves 5 of us. Darius and Pasha are off in Altamir spying on the Zealots. Riva's down in Rune investigating the murder of one of our diplomats, and you... well, you were farming.
So you don't know anything about the case?
I know the Regenti Razatov is gone, and I know that we lost 2 good inspectores trying to find him.
And you wanted me to be the third?
You were better than all of us, Cicero, you know it.
I don't know. Let's just go.
Jennifer Hale doesn't really disguise her voice anymore, does she? It's one of those stranger voice actors like Nolan North and stuff, and where like they get a voice acting role, but then it's immediately like, oh, that's just Jennifer Hale talking. As far as I can tell, it was the same voice that she used as the Green Lantern's girlfriend in the 3D Green Lantern show, which was surprisingly good, and I think already canceled, unfortunately. Definitely better than the movie, at least. And of course, it's the voice she used for female Commander Shepard, Lucia Shuria. So I think this codex they constantly make us look at is kind of spoiling the fact that she's not a party member in the long term, because she's not in this crew right here. She's a member of the Registry, but important enough to get multiple entries, apparently. Although with Razatov being right here, apparently she's going to get exactly 3 entries, and this guy's going to get exactly 3 entries, and maybe Tristan will get 4. The fact that Tristan cuts off Razatov right here kind of makes you worry that maybe he's only going to get 1 entry, 2 entries, and then maybe he's dead already or something, which would not be a great sign. I wonder if it was wise to number all of the entries. I guess it's useful for a completionist standpoint if you don't want to miss any, but the organization of this menu might actually give away story elements over time. Though we'd never have admitted it, there was a hierarchy among the inspectores depending on the task at hand. We weren't all equal. Pasha was the best diplomat of us all. Riva was the best fighter. Darius had an eye for reading the movements of economies. And Lucia's case was slightly different. She was a good fighter, surely, and a decent diplomat. She had a keen mind for investigations and did fairly when tasked to predict foreign economies and establish trade routes, but she wasn't particularly phenomenal at any of them. She was talented, but she wasn't special. Yet there was something about her that drew us all to her, and, we suspect, got her ranks as inspectore in the first place. She was committed. Of all the inspectores, she was the hardest working by far. She knew that she wasn't as naturally gifted in certain areas as some of us were, and she made up for it with diligence and assiduity, and in the end, she turned out to be one of the most reliable inspectores. Humble and persistent, she never adopted any pretenses, and was honest about her work. It is why I am so surprised at her manipulation of me. Admittedly, I might have been a little harsh, after all. Can't anybody who renders assistance to me be considered a resource as well? Perhaps I have just been away for too long and forgotten what it feels like to be part of the city, always a pawn in someone's greater game. But I am back, and I will learn to deal with these things again. With regards to Lucia, however, I suppose I cannot say that I am surprised that she has changed. 5 years may not constitute an age, but the change that a few years have the potential to bring is not to be underestimated. Hopefully, she is still mostly the person that I knew, stalwart, assured, and hopefully I will be able to find some time between the end of this investigation and my return to the Cavalli Fields to catch up with her. So she's an old flame of sorts, an old friend, and a particularly dedicated member of the organization. The anime protagonist of the organization, the character who's not good at anything but really dedicated. The Registry, Inspectores. Some in the city believe that the Inspectores of the Registry are shadowy figures enlisted to perform dark deeds for those that have consolidated power in the White Spire. Others believe that they are simply regente, well trained in the media. Neither is completely false, but to categorize us like that is certainly reductive. The Inspectores of the city are simply men and women who conduct investigations for the Veron, the leader of the Registry. The investigations are myriad in nature, and just as the Inspectores are varied in skill. Some of us serve as esteemed diplomats, while others spend their days searching for missing people of great import. Whatever our duties, however, one thing is for certain: the Inspectores of the Registry are not individuals that one trifles with without incurring the wrath of the Registry itself. So they're Jedi. There we go. Shorthand found. We're basically the Jedi slash, I almost said shepherd, that's not correct, specters of this given universe. I thought that was a cutscene. I thought they were going to talk to me. They're just random NPCs that are walking through me. I'm just so used to walking through a door and having somebody walk up to me and talk to me that I just thought that was a cutscene. I feel like that's inevitable. So my understanding is that this is more or less the shape this game's going to take.
Calvin.
You're brave, standing on White Spire soil.
You say it as though there is something I should fear.
Certainly not. Not out here, at least.
That's vaguely threatening in a way that's not very encouraging for our new little posse. But yeah, if you haven't noticed yet, I think this is going to be more or less the structure of the game, which is walk through linear hallways, investigate lore as you find it, read codex entries, watch cutscenes, and fight! And that'll more or less be how this goes. I don't think this is ever going to be an open world RPG. To be fair, I didn't even get to read that one time. Alright, well. Hey, our friends are back. Should I do a micro lap for any glowing lore entries? There's not a lot of room for them because there's the giant chasm surrounding us, of course. Hello. The Fissia, Mendeza, and cut off. Mendeza and Merabusto. The Fissia, the Fisica, possibly, are one of the 3 pairs of media that are currently recognized and have their practitioners concentrating on their physical form to affect their branding prowess. The 2 constituent media are Merabusto and Medanza. Not a lot to get out of that one. Hello. They really are just goring each other. Maybe they should have considered making training animations if they wanted to have characters look like they're training, because having them just do melee attacks on each other looks murdery? I'm sorry, are 5 people attacking one person right now? Because if they are, that person's very dead. That doesn't seem like effective training either. Let's move on.
Ah, there you are, sir. I hope everything is well.
It is. Get the coach ready, please. We've got places to go. Mariner, maybe you'd like to follow the twins. Get acquainted?
A rather obedient bunch.
What's this about, Lucia?
What?
Don't tell me you just happened to be in the spire.
Happened? Well, have I ever told you about the beggar who was too astute for his own good?
Lucia.
He dies at the end of the story.
You have. Many times.
The mask runners are getting stronger.
What do you mean?
They've taken over the Quiet Order. That's why I'm headed there.
Since when?
A few weeks ago. 5 years this war's been going on, Cicero, and those worms have only gotten stronger. I need to find out how.
That's why you encouraged Avestus to bring me back? So I could be your resource? I have a case to solve.
Cicero, please. You're the only one who...
The quiet order. Go.
A ride would have been nice.
Bye, Jennifer Hale. Your voice acting is expensive, so go away.
So, Mariner. Mariner.
Are you trying to say something?
Why do they call you that? Do you sail out onto the belt often?
Not anymore.
Oh, well, you used to?
Before I settled down.
Settle down.
I'm in charge of an orphanage now.
With children?
No, cats and dogs, I'm sure.
Oh, I love animals. What?
Eyes on the road, Toths. Elena, please stop bullying your brother. And Ricardo,
Yes, sir?
just keep going.
We got an important lesson in ignoring
Both stay here.
V's.
I'll come find you when I'm done.
Any words that have V's in them, the V may not be real. Is another Calden already? That was fast. So the mariner is in charge of an orphanage. Few in the city would think of shouldering such a burden. Life in Ombre is hard enough as it is, without the responsibility of lives of the young. The man's beginning to show himself to be kind of hard, which makes the fact that he is harboring a secret even stranger. What mysteries would a guardian of the innocent want to conceal? Well, if nothing else, it might be indication that at least he doesn't have a nefarious secret that's going to destroy us. Or maybe that's definitely what's going to happen. We'll find out.
So this is the business you were talking about. Lucia told me about it.
You met her? We've been expecting her. Is she supposed to help us find a way in?
She got caught up with a few things. Should be on her way.
And you're here for...
The investigation. There's someone I need to see inside.
I'm afraid that's going to have to wait. We've got Portieri pushing all the walls we can, but the mask runners... I think our men are just getting tired.
How did you lose it in the first place?
The Portieri that managed to get out say that the mask runners just appeared from the streets. Happened too suddenly. They lost the ward overnight.
Well, I'll see you later.
I suppose you will.
So, do we have an over/under taking bets on how long it's going to be before we get in contact with the mask runners? Whenever there's a special resistance force, we always end up sort of grouping with them.
Our lead.
Who said anything about waiting?
You did.
I said I'd see him later. Nothing about waiting in that.
Except I'm going to read some codex entries now, so quiet. The Quiet Order. Wow, I said quiet, and that happened. Named after the disposition of its residents, the Quiet Order has, since its inception, been home to those of the Registry who work from cloistered corridors and sequestered rooms. These men and women principally work in the fields of academia, or deal with the nation's trade or international relations, and tend to prefer keeping away from the busy world of the city. And more... The War of Bearings. It is difficult for me to speak of this war, as the story of its birth is so deeply entwined with that of my exile, but I have learnt that the power of simply chronicling events can be somewhat palliative. The War of Bearings began 5 years ago, officially with the betrayal of my brother, Cyrus Gavar, who abused his position as custodian of the Hall of Bearings to siphon and distribute a large portion of the Registry's cache of Mascherines to the mask runners of the city. In the years that followed his death, the freshly equipped mask runners attempted, time and again, to overthrow the forces that subdued them, the Registry mainly, though their efforts seemed mostly in vain, now that their passionate leader had perished. To the best of my knowledge, the efforts of the civil war yielded little results but death, mostly of the mask runners, and now, 5 years later, just as my exile has seemingly come to an end, so too seems the war to be petering out. So that's interesting. So that nails down the fact that what we witnessed in the prologue was the very, very, very beginning of the conflict, and it sparked something that went on for years. But of course, that character wasn't around for that because he was already dead, and we were not even in town. So neither of our brothers would have witnessed the events that transpired after.
Mariner, you're a strong man, aren't you? If you could give this a little tug?
It wasn't secured.
wonder why. Come on.
Things I do for you, brother.
You say it wasn't secured, but how unsecured? Because you ripped it entirely out of its frame.
Closed it behind you?
I did. What is going on in that head of yours?
Anytime wards have been taken over in the last 50 years, it's been through frontal assaults. Nobody thinks about drains.
Except us. And, the guy from Dishonored.
Rather interesting place for mists.
All over the city. This has been an increasingly common sight.
Everywhere.
Sometimes even in the streets.
And Adam Jensen. Oh, hi. I believe that's probably a, Fae, right? The blue bar represents the companion's mask charge. Okay. Mask charge is generated passively and consumed to cast skills, I figured. Each class has its own unique way to generate additional mask charge. Okay, cool. Explosion! Oh, so the thing to note about that is that apparently those things don't really move around. I kind of assumed that they would be bouncing around the map or something. Dirge generates mass charge. Okay. Alright, I can review the other things later. It's fine. So you have to click the cast. Okay. So interestingly, the tornadoes don't really move around, do they? I kind of thought that I would have 3 wibbly-wobbly tornadoes flying out of me like the, Is there a tornado spell in Diablo? I think the druid could cast it. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Let's try cast instantly. There we go. Yeah, pressing 2 on the keyboard, then clicking with my mouse to click cast is weird. So I'll go ahead and do automatic casting until I see a reason why that causes a problem. Let's try double teaming this guy if we can. Can I get you to attack this guy? Oh, right. Mixed up left and right. That's fine. And to review, there's the Atmos Ring. Conjures 2 spheres of water that rotate around the caster, raising threat. And it can also heal allies, which also encourages us to be overlapping, the 2 of us to be standing with each other. Wait, click to cast. I just told you not to wait for those. Oh well. No, I told you to attack that guy. There we go. Going for the water spout. Nope, all done. Just trying to uncast the spell and ended up going into the menu. Wow, they're persistent today. Alright. Just getting a few of these things active. Oh, that's what's going on. I try to tell him to cast a spell and I end up giving up control of Cicero and he starts making his own decisions. So I'm sitting there thinking like, why is he doing these weird actions? I didn't tell him to do those, but it's because I changed actions here. Let's review this. Aura that reduces attack movement and speed of nearby enemies. Oh. So, oh, cool. The aura sticks with me too. That's cool. Definitely gotta pause a little more. There we go.
Tides. What are Fae doing here?
You said this mist was becoming more common?
Only in the last few years, yes.
And Fae, have they been more common as well?
You think they're related?
You don't? It's quite a clear connection. The Federalists probably have something on this. We can ask when we get back, but for now...
We should keep moving.
If Cicero just grabbed a random mask from the shelf that just happened to fit the element he liked, he got pretty lucky, because that looks pretty great. Mask charge. In order to use skills, you need to use mask charge. Oh, here's the regeneration thing we saw earlier. Passiers regenerate mask passive charge. Yeah, the defensive stance I'm using right now does passive mask charge regeneration, but you get extra charge proportional to the damage they take. Oh, so taking damage regenerates. Synchros regenerate it when they're moving about the battlefield and attacking. Dirges regenerate mask charge while standing still. Interesting. So dirges just stand still. It's all over the place, really. But passives, the ones I'm using right now. So it's good to know that taking damage actually makes me regenerate energy faster for doing more attacks. What do we have up here? Bolgia, the Fey type. The Fae of the sewers and storm drains. The Bolgia aren't often a nuisance that the Masquerada have to deal with. They rarely ever venture from beyond the dark tunnels below the city, and aren't too difficult to dispatch. In fact, most of the Masquerada choose to stay away from this specific breed of fae simply because of their uncanny resemblance to the foul filth that comprises their surroundings. They're poop monsters. We're fighting poop monsters. They're poop lizards. Poop bug lizards. Poop poop. Just in case we weren't clear. Any more? Come and get us. Oh, that's a big one.
The exits to the Quiet Order should be that way.
What are they doing?
Whatever it is, we will have to go through them. Are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Brace yourselves.
Is that a shelled poop monster with like one giant claw and one tiny claw? Masks are powerful skills that can be activated to change the tides of battle. To activate a mask, mask charge must first be expended using skills. You can activate your mask with sufficient charge has been expended. Okay, so I need to use my actual attacks. I need to use my normal attacks first, and we charge up our special attack, basically. And also, we had a new entry. Oh, it's already selected. Mascherines and their ultimate abilities. It's another. I think this is just the same description, more or less, but with the more wordy version, if needed. Gotta get down here. Oh, that's probably bad. Hey, dude, you might want to get out of here. There we go. Just come join us back here. Cool. All right. Atmos Ring activated. We'll do Atmos Ring first. Followed by this attack. We'll try to flank a little bit. Just to not be standing on the same side of him. That way, if something goes wrong, I can at least jump between the two characters and not have to... Oh, extra enemies are showing up now. Let's maybe crowd control the extra enemies. Not crowd control, but clear them out. Okay, you need to get out of that attack. And you should also get out of that attack. So we'll just have you both attack from back here now. Just trying to stay out of any special cast ranges they have. There we go. Casting what I can along the way. You about to do it again? Yeah, he is. Alright. Let's just get you both out of the attack range real quick. There you go. Now you can both attack. So we're taking a lot of damage here, which is becoming a problem. I do have my ability to use my mask now, though, which is good. That'll tilt things in our favor for a bit. And it looks like he's down to 22% health. I'm looking at the meter here and it looks strange. Oh, it's going towards the center. Okay, sorry. I thought it was starting here and that this was the end of it. And I'm like, that doesn't look like 22% at all. But I think that it's draining from both sides at once. I haven't been looking at the health bar directly because I've been preoccupied a little bit. Here comes the aura, right? No? Can I not use the aura? There's the aura. There we go. Oh, look at that stuff floating around. That's a sight. Alright, so you're not really healing much, and we don't have a ton of ways to heal him right now. So I may just have to accept that for now. But we're getting there. Let's have you both focus on one guy, just to reduce the number of attackers as fast as we can. There we go. Hey, he's even running away. Making it easy for us. Oh, he's down. Not what I was hoping for, but we're a moment away from winning now. Hey, skill points. That's not bad. Why not investigate how to spend these now? So... this one is... whoa. I'm sorry, all of those are at once? So, he gains focus, health, mask charge, regeneration, also gains an attack and movement speed boost, and wow, he just gets better in every conceivable way. I kind of thought that was when I first saw this, I thought it was a summary of this entire tree of passives, but that's the first skill. Increased damage when there are no allies nearby. Oh, there's usually allies nearby. All allies take less damage. Whenever Cicero changes stances, he gains a temporary damage boost. Gains more mask ultimate when mask charge is spent. Cicero masters the Dirge, Pavisserie and Cicero ways of mask charge regeneration. So it must mean that all of your regeneration just gets better at that point, basically. I am quite interested in getting another skill, though. Should I grab a Muddrake first or go for the other one next? I don't know, that seems like a strong passive. Maybe I should just grab it. And we'll move on to other things later. How about you? Oops. That's not the character. There we go. What? Oh, right. That's all of his masks. I'm in the mask menu. I was in the wrong menu. Reduces all damage the caster takes, and their attacks generate more threat. Well, he just went down during that fight, so I should probably go for that too. Let's get their first passes out of the way, and we'll read through these skills real quick. More charge regeneration, increased attack speed, caster takes less damage, again. Increased focus regeneration, increased maximum focus. Okay. All worth keeping in mind. Did we get a new thing at all? I don't think we did. Nope. Alright, level up happened. My understanding is that this game actually doesn't have levels in it, and that like you don't get experience for doing stuff. And instead, as you progress through the game, because it's a linear story, there are just specific parts throughout the game that just give you a level up on the spot. You look familiar. That's not good.
Mask Runner.
You were right.
Come on, we're almost there.
What if they try to kill us?
Then we defend ourselves. Simple.
Never mind, I suppose. From here, I just thought they looked familiar. The Masquerades of Ombre are often regarded by the city as scoundrels and thieves who use their Mascherines they've acquired, through whatever means, to commit acts illegal in nature. This notion, however, throws a tidy blanket over the fact that a vast majority of them are simply doing whatever it takes to eke out a living in this difficult world. So a Masquerade died down here. So there are limits to how powerful the Mascherines make people, ultimately. That debris looks bizarre. Because our friend here's a Masquerade, and he got taken down during that fight. I mean, not him, sorry, he's got a Masquerine, and he got taken down during that fight. So they're not exactly invincible.
What's wrong?
I am not the lightest person around.
You'll be fine. Come on.
Please. Come on. Damn it. I told you.
Get him!
See, that's not very nice of you to do. Press H to instruct a companion to stand ground. Why would I do that, exactly? In this case. Wow, he really broke the entire thing, didn't he? What was that made of, exactly? I thought just one individual rung broke, but nope. So H does stand ground. B opens party behavior menu to configure AI of your companions. Right, I can tell them when to use Atmos Ring. Click the party behavior tab to access, yes. Change the AI of your party members by configuring how the AI uses them. These arrows prioritize the abilities your party members are used during combat. The disable AI control completely, or set the minimum mask charge required for the AI to use abilities. Use these arrows to scroll through your party members.
We've got this!
That's interesting. So I can specifically tell them, as I suspected, I can tell them to maintain a certain level of charge at all times, so that they don't waste it if it's below a certain point, for example. Let's see. I can tell them to prioritize things. Let's prioritize Atmos Ring. There we go. Seems like a good thing to cast intentionally, because it's a longer cooldown, I believe, and it has beneficial effects for the party. Similarly, Dust Devil's sort of a once every now and then type skill, so it's not a terrible idea to prioritize a little bit more, especially when there's clusters. Let's say 2+ enemies. This one will go after anybody with a tag. It says cast on self when below this amount of focus, or below a certain amount of health. Interestingly, I don't think I can change the. They give you one rule for each skill, and I don't think you can choose the rule. So hopefully they chose each one of them better. So why would I do this when I'm below focus? It heals allies nearby, sure. But I don't see how it helps with focus. So I don't know if there's... That's a weird rule. It's also strange that you can't turn off the rule. Like, you can't just set a rule saying, hey, use this all the time, or anything. It's You use it below this amount of focus, below this amount of health, or you don't use it ever. So this is so while they did go through with having like a slightly Dragon Age like program your characters thing, it's not super comprehensive, I would say. Anyway, I feel like it's good to prioritize their rarer skills over their more common skills because they're only going to use them once, and then they'll be gone for a while anyway. That seems reasonable. So both focus on this guy at first, and just take him down immediately if we can. Then as the enemies surround us, we can just obliterate everything. Oh my goodness. Customizing AI should be exactly what I think it is. Yeah, it's a summary of the tutorial. And hold command. As he doesn't give me an explanation. While in this state, party members will remain stationary and only attack enemies that are within range. Okay, so you can tell people to stay back with H. But that'd make more sense when I get somebody that actually has ranged attacks, which I don't think this guy really specializes in. Isn't he kind of tanky with the same amount of health? I have twice as much focus as him apparently. That's interesting. At some point I guess we're going to be talking about this mask ultimate, because we already have mask. We have focus, which is this meter. We have mask charge, which is this thing over here. Then we have the mask ultimate, which is something that it hasn't. Wait, or is that charge? Oh wait, never mind. Focus is the shield. That's charge. The ultimate is what lets you use your mask. Okay, never mind. There's nothing new. Just gotta keep all these terms straight. Alright, let's start off with the Atmos ring. Keep one of us healthy at the very least. Okay. Let's maybe back out of this real quick. We can take the moment to flank to their ranged character instead, who probably doesn't have any this character probably doesn't have any nasty tricks to throw at us. If you're gonna AoE, we'll hit you where it hurts. Careful now. There we go, he's down already. Go back on the weak guy again. It's making me click to cast again, even though I specifically toggled that off. Alright, I'm just gonna back out of this again. No AoE for you! Enjoy standing in my weird bubble of death. And now we've lured this guy out while you're doing your AoE, so we can just hit him anyway. You've fixed nothing! You've solved nothing! And now your friend's gonna go down. So there's that too. Okay, he's about to go down. Why is he holding? I didn't tell him to hold. You attack him, and you back off. He seems rather focused on me. Could you not? Okay, fine. Let's go for this then. And then see if I can get away. Alright, let's get out of this bubble. Nope, he's trying to auto path back in. Trying to not get you killed, dude. Water gun. I'm shooting you from inside your bubble. How's that working out for you? There we go.
With you walking around in all that blue, we don't stand a chance.
What do you...
This one's got wide hips. His trousers should suffice.
His shirt isn't even going to cover half my chest.
Point?
Oh, fine.
Impressive tattoo. Hadn't thought you'd be the type.
Yeah. Thanks.
What's it about?
Are you here to investigate me or my brother?
Come on.
Well, he almost got it to fit. Alright, well this is a disguise for sure. Now we just need to get deeper inside without more fights. He's less armored than ever before at this point. Which way do I want to go? There's no map, is there? Nope. And his mask. This seems like it might be a side path, so let's check.
They must have heard us from here.
There's enough food to last them weeks.
An outpost.
See what you can find.
I don't understand. Of all the wards, why this one? I've heard it all has are softies, and it isn't defensible, and it's so close to that damned white spire. Why here? Of course I asked. Then, they said the Herald wanted this place, specifically. I don't know why, I asked, but Medio couldn't tell me. And I don't know enough about the Herald to guess, either. I just know the Herald wanted this ward real bad.
Anything interesting?
Whoever wrote this talks about a figure called the Herald.
I found this too.
Wait for the Herald's command, nothing else.
Herald?
I don't know. I've never heard of him before.
Then he must be new.
Or I might not be as knowledgeable about the Mascherines as everyone in this damn city seems to think. There doesn't seem to be anything left for us.
Oh, there we go. From the piece of the Masquerada writings I've discovered, it seems there's a figure in the ranks called the Herald. I know not where he stands or who he is, but I believe it would be in our best interest to keep his name in mind. Watch it turn out to be the big... Oh, another broken ladder. These are all built terribly, aren't they? The big twist turns out to be that Herald is just some dude named Herald.